Larsa Pippen has been in the news since her divorce from Scottie. Scottie is finally responding to the craziness that has continued, from dating Michael Jordan's kid to even her own son's teammate.
Everyone wants to know, how do you feel about the relationship?
And believe me, everyone, especially Larsa, was taken aback by his remark. Let's dissect it. The dissolution of a basketball dynasty's union. The marriage between Scottie and Larsa Pippen lasted from 1997 to 2021, included 4 children, and endured several divorces before ending in divorce. However, it's not simply the divorce itself that makes this narrative so compelling. It's what followed, and more precisely, who followed. Due to her participation on The Real Housewives of Miami, 51-year-old Larsa Pippen has established herself as a mainstay in reality television. And that platform has brought forth hitherto unheard of transparency regarding her love life. In contrast to many famous ex-partners who keep their post-marriage romances strictly private, regarding her dating choices, love experiences, and yes, her particular affinity to males in the NBA ecosystem, Larsa has been remarkably, some would say, excessively open. This transparency has led to an intriguing, if awkward, situation where Scottie Pippen, a man who was one of basketball's most respectable and collected figures during his career, must deal with the public spectacle of his ex-wife's highly visible sexual choices. Let's comprehend the marriage itself in order to lay the groundwork for this tale. When they first met in the middle of the 1990s, Larsa was only 21 years old, and Scottie was already a well-known NBA star who had recently won several titles with the Chicago Bulls.
I feel like we were together, we had such a great run. We were together for 21 years.
Yeah.
So no, I feel like it was perfect.
Regarding her dating choices, love experiences, and yes, her particular affinity to males in the NBA ecosystem, Larsa has been remarkably, some would say excessively, open. This transparency has led to an intriguing, if awkward, situation where Scottie Pippen, a man who was one of basketball's most respectable and collected figures during his career, must deal with the public spectacle of his ex-wife's highly visible sexual choices. Let's comprehend the marriage itself in order to lay the groundwork for this tale. When they first met in the middle of the 1990s, Larsa was only 21 years old, and Scottie was already a well-known NBA star who had recently won several titles with the Chicago Bulls. Although Larsa has consistently refuted these particular accusations of infidelity, she has also been extremely open about dating other men during what she refers to as times of separation. Larsa's admission of a romantic relationship with Cleveland Cavaliers center Tristan Thompson, who would go on to become well known for his intermittent romance with Khloe Kardashian, was one of the most stunning discoveries. Larsa claimed to have introduced Thompson to the Kardashian family while she was dating him. This revelation, which implied a complex network of connections between NBA players, reality TV stars, and the Kardashian empire, sent shockwaves across both basketball and pop culture circles. However, from Scottie's point of view, this is when the story becomes most fascinating. When a man's ex-wife openly talks about her love relationships with other NBA players, how does he respond? When such relationships turn into tabloid fodder and social media viral moments, how does a basketball icon who built his whole career on poise, team-first mentality, and quiet dignity respond? Scottie Pippen's strategy has been defined by calculated silence. Scottie has mostly kept a polite distance from the drama, in contrast to many celebrities who feel obliged to react to every rumor and scandal. In a 2021 interview promoting his memoir Unguarded, Scottie made one of his few public remarks regarding the matter, saying that he wasn't bothered by Larsa's public affairs because the relationship was already terminated when the details became public. He described the media's coverage as just what they do. They produce press. This comment indicates Scottie's coping strategy, separation, which makes it intriguing. Instead of discussing the details of Larsa's relationships or the people she was seeing, he decided to present the whole thing as having already been decided. The union was dissolved. Consequently, he didn't care about what happened next. It's a very mature response, but considering what would happen next, one has to wonder if this outward display of indifference conceals deeper emotions of hurt, embarrassment, or betrayal. Because even Scottie's extraordinary capacity to remain above the fray would be put to the test by the particular circumstances of some of Larsa's following relationships. even though he might have been able to retain his composure regarding general public affairs. After all, the NBA is more than just a league of athletes. Relationships are important in our community and fraternity, both on and off the court. The personal and professional become inexorably interwoven when your ex-wife starts dating in that environment, particularly with athletes your son may play against or as teammates. According to research, Larsa has had romantic relationships with at least 3 NBA players since her split: Eric Moreland, Tristan Thompson, and, most controversially, Malik Beasley. Every one of these connections would present its own set of difficulties, unpleasant situations, and challenges to Scotty's resolve to keep a dignified quiet. Prior to delving into the particulars of these relationships and Scotty's responses, both in public and privately, we must comprehend Larsa's own viewpoint regarding her dating decisions and her exceptional candor regarding her love preferences.
I don't really go by age, do you?
No, you go by vibes, energy.
I recently was dating a guy that was my age.
Okay.
And
you didn't like it?
No, I think he was just very immature.
Oh.
And I literally had to say to him, I said, there's a reason, like every relationship you take something from it, and I took from that little relationship that age is nothing but a number.
You look for emotional age, not...
I think emotional maturity is more important than actual age.
This idea has been Larsa's compass in her post-divorce dating life, and it has frequently brought her back to younger basketball players. Despite controversy and condemnation from fans, media pundits, and even members of her own family, she has remained unrepentant about this predilection. The question of perspective and judgment looms over this whole circumstance. After a lengthy marriage, is Larsa just a lady exercising her right to date whoever she wants? Or is there anything about the pattern of her decisions that makes her feel especially uneasy? The persistent pursuit of younger NBA players, some of whom are directly related to her son's career or the legacy of her ex-husband. As we'll see, the answer probably relies on who you ask and what values they bring to the discussion. We can be certain that Scottie Pippen has remained non-engaged in public during this entire story. Basketball analysis, business endeavors like his Digits Bourbon Company, and sporadic family moments are the main topics of his social media presence. He makes no remarks regarding Larson's romantic life. He doesn't interact with the headlines or the speculations. Usually, he doesn't add fuel to the flames with cryptic messages or scathing comments. However, as we will learn in the following sections, there have been times when the mask has come off, when private communications have been made public, and when the calculated silence has been broken by responses that show the real person behind the NBA players, the basketball legend, and the turning point. Larson's affair with Malik Beasley was the one relationship that really put Scottie Pippen's dedication to respectful quiet to the test. This was not just another tabloid story or dating rumor. A married guy, paparazzi images, family issues, and finally one of the few recorded instances in which Scottie broke his quiet to openly criticize one of Larsa's romantic choices were all part of this full-fledged public scandal. The world was already in disarray when the Malik Beasley incident occurred in November 2020, at the height of the COVID-19 epidemic. At a Miami shopping center, Beasley, who was then a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves, was seen holding hands with Larsa. With the exception of one important element, the pictures wouldn't have been shocking on their own. Together, Beasley and Montana Yao have a small child. Montana Yao openly addressed the incident and eventually filed for divorce as a result of the photograph's initial uproar. From a family standpoint, however, this is where things get even more problematic. Scottie Pippen Jr. and Malik Beasley would later play together on the Los Angeles Lakers in 2023. Just think of how uncomfortable that would be. In addition to having a casual relationship with your colleague, your mother was embroiled in a public issue that led to the breakdown of his marriage.
Let's talk about Malik Beasley for one quick second.
Oh, God.
I told you no.
You did tell me no. That one I should have.
Scottie Pippen Jr. spoke out about the circumstances. When the images initially surfaced in December 2020, he responded on Twitter with a calm but direct message, saying, "Focused on myself and my goals. Nobody's actions are my responsibility. Everything is okay over here." Additionally, he liked a number of tweets from disappointed supporters. One of them read, "Look at how disappointed in his mama he is. My heart is broken by this." Another said, "I feel bad for Scotty." These weren't dramatic outbursts, but they were unmistakable signs that the family was uncomfortable and embarrassed by the circumstance. At this point, senior Scottie Pippen broke his habit of remaining silent. Larsa revealed on The Real Housewives of Miami that Scottie texted her following Malik Beasley's February 2021 120-day jail term for DUI and threats. The text was straightforward yet scathing. "Go ahead and continue conversing with these losers." There are several reasons why this message is important. First of all, it's one of the few known incidents in which Scottie explicitly or implicitly denigrated one of Larsa's love partners. Scottie was paying attention to his ex-wife's relationships and was worried enough about the effect on their family to break his silence, as seen by the timing of the message sent right after learning about Beasley's legal issues. The use of the plural losers implies that this may have been about a pattern of decisions that Scottie found objectionable rather than simply Beasley in particular.
I had COVID brain. I had just had COVID. I was stuck in my house. I hadn't gone anywhere, and he was there, and he was like on me, you know, like, let me see, let me come see, let me come see you. And I thought, okay, come see.
Since then, Larsa has referred to the Beasley link as an error and tried to explain it away by attributing it to the COVID brain and the pandemic's isolation. However, the Pippen family's reputation suffered, as well as Beasley's marriage. Many people believe that Larson's post-divorce dating choices reached their lowest point in the Beasley scenario. However, it wasn't the end of the dispute, because what followed would entail not just any NBA link, but a relationship that would resurrect one of basketball's most well-known feuds and strike at the core of Chicago Bulls history. Larsa started dating Marcus Jordan in 2022. Marcus is the son of Michael Jordan, Scottie's former colleague, and the man he won 6 NBA titles with. Given the well-documented friction between Scottie and Michael that had been exposed in the 2020 documentary The Last Dance, this was not only awkward, but potentially explosive. Scottie had voiced his disapproval of the documentary's portrayal of his own contributions to the Bulls dynasty and called it self-serving. His ex-wife was now seeing the son of the man with whom he had been at odds. Social media had a field day speculating about how this must be affecting both Scottie and Michael because it was impossible to ignore the optics. In an interview with TMZ, Michael Jordan added his own layer of unease to the issue by simply saying no when asked if he approved of the connection. However, Larsa insisted that they didn't talk about her dating life and that Scottie was fine with the connection.
Is the status of your relationship with Scottie?
We're best friends.
Yeah.
We co-parent the same.
And
we
you are
love each
officially
other.
divorced.
Yeah.
This assertion of cordial co-parenting and respect for one another seemed to imply that Scottie was keeping whatever personal opinions he may have had about Marcus' circumstances to himself. But when Larsa and Marcus Jordan split up in February 2024, Scottie shared something on Instagram that many saw as a subtle but direct response. With Marvin Gaye's Troublemaker playing in the background, he posted an AI-generated video of himself smoking a cigar with the message, "You gotta boss up quietly. Success is the outcome. Silence is the tactic." Was this a direct reaction to the breakup with Marcus Jordan? It was impossible to disregard the timing, even though Scottie never verified it. It implied that Scottie might have found some solace in the breakup of this specific romance, which had worsened his already tense connection with Michael Jordan and returned unwelcome attention to the controversy surrounding the Bulls dynasty. When Scottie and Larsa Pippen relocated to Los Angeles in 2017, they were discovered together. Together, they looked fantastic. However, in an interview with TMZ Sports, Scottie remained silent.
Are you going to be a model now?
What you talking about, man?
You was on the runway. How was it?
All good.
Is this a one and done, or you going to continue with a model career? Y'all look good. Great date night.
They didn't appear to be able to agree on anything, and the divorce was finalized by 2018. When questioned about Larsa bringing his life to Real Housewives of Miami in 2023, Scottie remained utterly silent.
Annoyed when Larsa brought up your, life on Real Housewives of Miami.
God bless, Scotty.
Thank
bro.
you.
Later on, Larsa acknowledged that family pressure, including her kids' worries about the relationship, contributed to the separation. She disclosed that the children thought it was embarrassing and persuaded her that it wasn't a good scenario. These two significant relationships, Beasley and Marcus Jordan, are especially illuminating because they are the two situations in which we have the most convincing proof of Scotty's true feelings, whether via direct communication, the loser's text, or symbolic gestures, the cryptic Instagram post. Both of these relationships ended with a sense of relief or vindication, indicating that these circumstances did have an impact on him despite his public display of indifference. However, Larsa's dating habits inside the NBA community continued after Beasley. Additionally, she dated journeyman NBA player Eric Moreland from 2018 to 2019. Compared to Marcus Jordan or Beasley, this relationship was much less well-known and caused little public issue. Then there was the alleged connection to Ben Simmons of the Philadelphia 76 ERS, which Larsa has strongly refuted on her own. More recently, in 2025, there were rumors that Larsa was seeing Dennis Rodman Jr., the son of another former Bulls colleague of Scotty's. When the pictures of them at a dinner in Los Angeles in late August 2025 surfaced, they immediately drew analogies to the circumstances surrounding Marcus Jordan, another Bulls son, and another potentially problematic familial relationship. Larsa swiftly refuted these allegations, saying on Instagram, "Not true," and spreading false information that she was content with her present boyfriend, Jeff Kobe. This pattern paints a nuanced picture of a woman who appears to be really drawn to the basketball scene. As she herself has said, she is still looking for love partners within that environment in addition to being the ex-wife of an NBA legend.
Guys like me. Is that weird? Guys
No,
like me.
it's not weird, but I get it.
I'm fun, good energy. I don't need from anybody. I think that's appealing to a lot of guys. I don't know. I just feel like I never have a shortage of guys.